had no expectations in mind. I didn't know what it was going to be like. I said from the beginning that it wasn't so much about me going out and riding hundreds, of miles, if not thousands of miles. It was more about making a story. And I think that that's happened, and it's evolved along the way. And it's been a long ride, but it's if I'm not riding each day, I feel like we're not doing something. And it's funny because on one hand, when we wake up and we say it's a 30-mile day, I think, oh gosh, and we haven't had many 30-mile days, but when that happens, I think that that's awesome. When I hear 60 plus, and I kind of think, oh gosh, it's going to be a long day. But regardless, if we go out and try to do everything that we can, and there have been some times where we haven't been able to, and I've come to the conclusion that it's better to not ride all the miles if we have something better going on. And sometimes that's meeting people. Sometimes it's jumping off a bridge. And other times it's just an obligation that we have to meet. And an example was Comfort, Texas, where I was going to ride bikes with Jim, whose wife is going through breast cancer right now. And he doesn't have the same kind. He's got a mountain bike, and he's not a bicyclist, and he hasn't been biking for the last 3 weeks across the country. But that time was so much better spent biking along with him and talking to him than it was just me going out and saying, I can't do this. I got to ride 40 miles today. I don't know what we rode, 10 miles, give or take, but that was time that was so much better spent because we got to talk, and the more that I talk to people, and I don't get to talk to as many partners of the women affected with breast cancer as I'd really like to. And so when I do get to talk to somebody, it means a lot because they're kind of in the dark with all of this. So they're supposed to be the rock, and they're the ones that people cry to, women cry to, and they don't oftentimes have somebody that they can go to and say, look, this is horrible. I have to take on all this pressure. Also, they feel helpless. What Jim said to me was, I'm a firefighter, an EMT. I'm supposed to fix people right away oftentimes. And when your wife has breast cancer, you feel helpless. You can't just say, I'm going to fix you. So, hearing stories like that, having people come up to you in parking lots and say, here, let me show you my tattoo. And it's a picture of a pink ribbon. The random stories we hear from people of all different races, all different ages, in their 20s, in their 60s. That's truly what it's all about. The riding is difficult. Most of the time, I absolutely love to ride. There's times where the ride is over and I'm not ready to be done, but for whatever reason, I have to be done. There's also times where I say, I can't go another mile. And in that truck, it's truly my oasis where, you go over hill after hill and I just keep standing up and looking over thinking, is it there yet? Am I at that truck where oftentimes it's either my new water, or because I've been out of water for a while, or it's the end of the day. And when I just keep going mile after mile and that truck isn't there, and then I finally see it, it's absolutely amazing. But I have a lot of time to think, and I have a wide array of things to think about it. Oftentimes it's things that just keep playing through my head, and it can be something as silly as the guy in, I think it was Mobile, who was walking next to me and had too much to drink, and he just looked at me and said, Dusty, you're a peculiar fella. But something like that. He looked at me and said, Dusty, I think you're a peculiar fella. And the way he said peculiar, just, I have so much time to think about things. That sticks in my head. certain songs, On the Road Again, constantly plays in my head. When I went up this big bridge and coming into Texas, the Natchez Bridge, I believe, or Port Orange, something like that. Um, I saw the bridge, and I in fact posted on Facebook. I said, "Forget. I think I can. I know I can." And I verbally was saying out loud as I'm going up it, "I know I can. I know I can." That was the hardest climb I've had so far, and I was halfway up, and I was really questioning whether or not I was going to be able to make the whole thing. And I had this much space to ride in, and when you get tired, and if I veered off this way, I was going to get clipped, which means I go off over the bridge. And it was really crazy. Um, but the most part that I really think about are my friends, um, and how I really try to. I don't know, just what they've given me, and what I can what I can do to give back to them. We want to raise money so that we can help families. Uh, that is at the core of why we're doing all this. But there's something so much more powerful in comfort. It was a breast cancer survivor that put on all this, and that empowers her. And she gets it, and she's helping other women with breast cancer. And when you're looking at your life, saying, "I don't know what the meaning to my life is," or "I think I can be doing more," the answer is simple. The best way to find your life is to give your life away, and you have to figure out what that means for you. And for me, it means that I basically give my life to the breast cancer community, and that's not in any kind of what's the word that I'm looking. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but not in any kind of not like a hero or anything. It's just that's how I find meaning in my life, is to work within this community, and I get so much more back from it. And so I really want people to look at it and say, I get it. Yeah, we do need to support the second baseman or whatever cause is important to them. But more so, you have to find meaning in your life, and that meaning is to go out and do something that you wouldn't normally do if you have that nagging feeling of, there's something that I should be doing. It's explore that feeling. It's climb that grain elevator. It's jump that bridge. It's say hello to that person in the wheelchair that you say, "Well, I should, but it's going to be awkward, and how do I do that?" It's hold the door for somebody. It can be anything, but it's really finding a way to give a piece of your life away, and by doing that, ironically, that's how you grow.